Yeah.
I feel like this is important. Okay. So I guess, okay, we're live. So we're live. So India, we were just talking about something that I have been struggling with myself. And it is the idea that there's these two people. There's one person who's in my life who is probably the more, I don't know, it's the easier choice. I don't know if that's the right word. It's not easier choice, just makes more sense, makes more logical sense. Yeah. And even though he is a married guy, it just seems more logical. The other person is not, but the other person who probably is the divine masculine in my life isn't really talking to me at all. And that's kind of what's going on, right? So you say what you were saying.
Yeah, which is what Mary Jo and I were saying is normal for the divine masculine right now. If you know, that is kind of normal. But yeah, what I've seen and what you're describing is a lot, many, most, probably maybe all divine feminines being faced with, okay, this option makes more sense in the world, or maybe is more accommodating emotionally, or just more accessible.
Easier? Is that a word? I mean,
yeah, and maybe more controlled, maybe more able to be sort of managed.
Yeah.
The other option is wild and expansive and going to take you in a whole different direction and going to shift your whole world.
And has been really awful. There have been really awful times.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it's very tumultuous, whereas this other one's sort of more smooth sailing. And those are the two options the feminine's being faced with. And the mind is kind of participating with the world and saying, yeah, that makes more sense. And then the soul is participating with the divine and saying, but this is the direction we're being called in. So it's very much a pull. I've seen it described in a lot of readings as like the devil energy, you know, the 3D.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sort of pulling at the feminine. It's understandable. It totally makes sense. And it's just part of the journey. And what I've been seeing in the guidance is it's just a time when the feminine is being asked to commit one way or another. There is no wrong or right. Just, are you going to commit to that path, or are you going to commit to this path?
Okay. So I just want to say this to you because today I did some private readings, video readings for folks, and then was doing a lot of the stuff for the Empress Club. So if you want to join the Empress Club, you can join the Empress Club. I will also give you India's information because I know a lot of you have asked me about that. The thing that interesting you're just saying there is the devil has come up a ton in the readings, especially when it is about a divine masculine. And, you know, like, is this person my twin flame? Like, that's the question I'm being asked. And the devil comes up and you're like, right. It's like, that's, but that's energy that needs to be healed and all that kind of stuff. And then at the same time, what you just said about make a commitment, there is in my Archangel Michael deck here, there is a card that says make a commitment, and it always comes up for me or for the feminine. And I always think that's ridiculous because I'm like, who's more committed than us? Like right now, there is no one more committed than us. Right. So, but now I know you're exactly right with that.
And it's interesting that it's Archangel Michael saying that, because in my guidance, it has been Archangel Michael saying to the feminine,
yeah,
that you have to make a commitment. If you're on this path, either way, you can make a commitment to yourself on sort of what I'm going to call maybe the old path or the known path, or you're going to make a commitment to yourself on the new path, the expansive path, the path that your soul is expanding into. It's not a right or wrong. It's not a better or worse. It's just a choice in this lifetime. It's sort of like if you got to the end of your life and there was a choice of you to reincarnate or not. There's no
defending your life. Defending your life. We talk about that movie a lot. Have you seen that with Albert Brooks? It's like a really old movie. Okay, I'm totally dating myself with that, but he like his whole life he makes these stupid choices that basically are not correct for his soul, and then finally he gets to make a split second decision, and he chooses Meryl Streep because he's fallen in love with her. And then they're like, okay, yes, you get to advance because you finally made the choice that's right for your soul.
That's it. And I know. Easy, and it isn't easy. And that's why the that's where the path with the divine masculine is being made to, it is looking so challenging. It's like that. It's like basically, do you want to walk through the meadows and the hills like Sound of Music, or do you want to go up Mount Kilimanjaro? It's like,
don't say that, because I will always choose the Sound of Music. So don't say that to me.
But yeah, it is a choice.
One of my favorite movies. Okay.
But, so here's the one more thing that Michael would like mention, which is when you do choose the more expansive path, when you do choose the Mount Kilimanjaro, you're getting a ton of assistance. You have a Sherpa, Archangel Michael. You have a ton of assistance. You're not on your own. Whereas when you choose the other path, you kind of are.
I need a Sherpa. I totally need a Sherpa. No question about it. I have way too much luggage.
And not to say your guidance isn't with you on the other path, but just to say you're going more in the direction of your mind in the other path.
Amen to
the
that.
direction of your soul and the support there in the soul path. That's what.
Amen. Amen. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little bit of a different read than I normally do, because it just came to me as I was speeding home. And I saw this a couple of months ago, and it just came to me again as I was driving home. So I think I'm going to do it. It's basically like it's 5 cards and then 5 cards, and then you take another deck, and each one of them gets sort of a qualifying card. So this is for the Divine Feminine about what is going on for the journey right now. The first 5 cards. The second 5 cards are the Divine Masculine, what is going on for his journey right now. And each of the qualifying cards will help us along with that information. And then we'll get some Archangel Michael guidance, and we'll toss it to India, who will do her awesome reading tonight. So that's quite enough shuffling by me here. So let's do this. So as you know, underneath this big card for me, always 4 of Swords, healing, meditating, doing the 5D communication, 100%. I mean, I've said that half a dozen times today to different people. That card really is critical. So the World, 6 of Cups, Knight of Wands, 3 of Swords, 3 of Wands. And then down here, the Divine Masculine, Knight of Cups. Oh my God, this came up half a dozen times today for the Divine Masculine, which is awesome, by the way. Page of Cups, 8 of Swords, yep. 7 of Swords, escaping, 7 of Wands. And then the crowning energy, 9 of Cups. I love it. So here we go. So we're going to do this, and then I'm going to take this other deck over here. So the World card, something is coming to a finishing stage. Something is happening that is being wrapped up. So some lesson has been learned. Something is closing, not closing a door, no. More along the lines of leveling up, right? So you're going, you ever see that book that has like a ladder, and then to get to the next level, you got to jump like 5 feet over to this ladder and it goes up? It's kind of what this is like. Yes, absolutely. Oh my God. All right, so for that card, I'll tell you what I get as I go along here. Knight of Cups again, by the way, PS, which is totally cool. So for this card, again, the World card here at the end. So the World, Ace of Cups. So you are being given a gift. You are being given a gift. You've leveled up. It's sort of like Saturn leaving Sagittarius. We get a gift. It's the parting gift. And it's Ace of Pentacles, which is a delightful gift. So leveling up to the next level. But you know what happens in the next level? The degree of difficulty gets more. And that's a challenge for all of us. So the 6 of Cups, we absolutely do know about the soulmate connection. There is some resistance here. It feels to me like it's, if you ever talk about this with someone who doesn't understand the journey, doesn't understand Divine Feminine, doesn't understand what that is, you're going to get this. You're going to get a lot of closed energy. And it may, like India was just saying, it may send you down the path of least resistance a little bit, because you're like, why am I putting so much effort into this? Why do I need to climb Kilimanjaro when, you know, it is so much more pleasant the other way? And you might find some resistance to yourself, even though you know this is a soulmate. This is someone who is connected to you in a very deep way. the Knight of Wands is next. So moving forward, wanting to move forward, seeing the other person as the jewel, something valuable to you, you're moving forward. So that saves you from going down the journey that is safer. There's something about this Knight of Wands, very sexy, first of all. But there's something about this path, the more difficult path that you're seeing. Because look, the Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles, you're seeing how valuable this experience is. And so you're going to go the Kilimanjaro route. And unfortunately, it's not without its bumps, right? So 3 of Swords, 4 of Cups. There can be some issues when you're leveling up, sort of like a disconnect, a feeling of not, is he following me? Like I'm moving forward, and I hope he is too. As you know, we both level up together, but the Divine Feminine is definitely ahead. And this is not a slap at Divine Masculine at all. God bless you guys. I mean, we each have our other Divine Feminines to talk to, but there is this sort of like malaise, a little bit of just a moment, okay? Just a moment of that. Because what happens next is great. The expectation of this, of the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is the first card in the next row, which is the Divine Masculine. So the expectation that we have about this offer of love is happening. It's happening. So don't fall victim to the Sound of Music too much. And also don't be daunted. It's sort of like on the other side. Don't be daunted by the by the difficulty of the Kilimanjaro climb, because you have leveled up. You have been given this awesome gift to get to the next level. And as a reward, as when Saturn left Sagittarius, Knight of Cups. So the next row is all the Divine Masculine, and here he is, Knight of Cups, Divine Masculine, with all of his responsibilities, understanding that to move with the Divine Feminine, there's going to have to be a relinquishing of some things that are overwhelming to him, things that are stopping him. It's sort of like he's pushed this as far as it's going to go. And it's like, in order to be this guy, I've got to put this down. I've got to be able to understand why these things have happened. I have taken on a lot of things that are overwhelming to me. And some of them, it's not necessary, right? It's just like, this is the story about who I am that I have created. And this is my soul's purpose. I need to be in this energy. Okay, I need to be in this energy. This is way too much like obligation. Boy, is that a dirty word to me, obligation. And it feels overwhelming, and it is. It is. Because the next card here is the Page of Cups, the reciprocity of this love, the Knight of Cups and the Page of Cups basically looking at each other, and then the 10 of Wands and the 9 of Wands basically looking at each other. And it is so incredible. It's almost like this is the journey that is the soul, and this is the journey that is the mind, or something like that. That this 9 of Wands is baggage, this 10 of Wands is more baggage, needs to be put down. They are mightily struggling with that. Look at this. Look at this. 8 of Swords, 5 of Swords. They're really fighting it. Really fighting putting down those burdens, really fighting offering the cup, even though that is their sole purpose right now. That is what they need to be doing. On both sides, incredibly difficult. And in fact, this 5 of Swords is a little bit about ego. Now we're talking about ego, which is like these two cards here look, you know, I have men in my life. I don't know if they're not my divine masculine, but I have men in my life who are like, look at what an awesome man I am, because look at how many things I can carry. Like that's how they're sort of measuring masculinity or their story about themselves. And so it gets into like a little bit of an ego thing. Like he picks up 2 bags of this, I'll pick up 4, right? It is contraindicated for their soul journey. And yet this is the lesson that they have to learn right now, that it's not about how many sacks of cement you can pick up. It's really how intimate can you be? And that's really an incredible lesson for the divine masculine right now, because that's never been really their challenge. That's never, they are sort of always have been able to rise to the occasion of the challenge. This is a very new challenge, and it's really a struggle. So then what happens? 7 of Swords, excuse me. 7 of Swords, escaping. And there's going to be some straight talk. So away from this, I'm going to sneeze. Phew! Away from this, they've sort of struggled. And then they're like, I'm out of here. Now, what does that mean? I'm out of here. I think we need a clarifier on that. And I've got the Queen of Swords, meaning in terms of thoughts, because this is swords and this is swords. So this is thoughts. This is about escapism. And the Queen of Swords does not do escape, right? She's like, look, you need to be straight up. What are you going to do? What do you want to do? Don't just like run away. You need to stand here and look at this. And this is their own thing that's going on. This is not even us talking. This is their own inner discussion, inner dialogue about, well, I could just run away from all this. No, you can't. She is taking no BS, as we talked about earlier today with 2 people I spoke with. This is all about no BS. And this is escapism. This is something that isn't really part of the journey, because it's also not the story they're telling themselves about themselves. And the story they're telling themselves is going to become this Knight of Cups. So to be the Knight of Cups, which is truly like Sir Lancelot, you know, it's the Camelot, the highest version of a knight is about, you know, honor and valor and all those things. Sir Lancelot is not, there's no way knights are like running away. They don't run away. They are present. And that's what the Queen of Swords is reminding them, that they must be present in this new journey to move forward. It's not getting any easier though, because they are resisting. Even though they have all the tools that they need, there will be more resistance. And the very final card is the 9 of Cups, which is you asked for it, you got it, right? You asked for it, you got it. And then the world comes back again. So the world makes an appearance twice here, at the first card and the last card, meaning they're going right back to the beginning and where we leveled up at the beginning of the reading, which is, you know, this is wonderful, but this is something your soul asked for. This is something that you agreed to, and you can't run away from it. And so they're going to go through a loop here, which is very much reminiscent of the world here, until they say yes. So I'm going to throw it to India, because India will talk to us more about divine masculine, what they're thinking, what's going on with them, and how they might get out of this exhausting loop.
Thank you. That was really beautiful, amazing. And there were several things that you said that I really want to confirm and add on to. One, when you were talking about the how intimate can you be, how vulnerable can you be, that is the divine masculine's challenge. The divine feminine's challenge on the flip side is, how deep and unconditional can this love be? How broadly can you love? I actually, right before this reading, I was struck by something, because I was going through my own challenge with something that actually had to do with an inner, you know, anyway, it just had to do with something else, but it was an external challenge, and it popped to mind, oh, this is what it means when we say we're embodying the Christ consciousness. because we are embodying the Christ consciousness with this unconditional love on this divine path. That means that's a very broad thing. What came to mind was, you know, turning the other cheek, things that Jesus would say that were very all encompassing. And yes, there's so much power and strength in that Christ consciousness. There is a whole lot of scope for what the love encompasses. So when you meet up against that resistance, that's the time to look and go, wait, oh yeah, I'm embodying the Christ consciousness. And whereas the masculine is doing the same thing, just on the flip side, oh, I'm embodying the Christ consciousness, which means I'm very vulnerable, very open. You know, we're kind of doing it in an offensive way. They're doing it in a defensive way, if that makes sense. Letting down their defenses, we're letting down our offenses. Does that make sense? So I'm going to ask now. And then the other thing was, you were talking about the resistance and things with the three of swords and the energies that are going to come. In the past couple months and weeks, that has been about the internal healing. That has been about the things coming up, old wounding, old pain coming up to be released. Now moving forward, what you were showing, it's going to be more in the external. You're going to have more external challenges, whether that's changing your existing life because you are going on the divine path, or being drawn toward that more amenable option or more palatable option because the world is coming at you saying, deal with this, now deal with this. And then you're like, I don't think I'm going to deal with all that and do this divine path. So that was my interpretation of that energy. So now I'm going to just ask for any other guidance from the Energy Oracle with Sandra and Taylor. Thank you. It's the man holding the coin. He's been coming out a lot for the divine masculine. He and the man holding the heart. So the man holding the coin, very much this Pentacles energy of wanting, I guess it would be the Knight of Pentacles, wanting to bring that value to the feminine, wanting to, and will you remind me, Mary Jo, is he the fastest? No,
he's the slowest. Yeah,
Right.
But you know, it's also like step by step, which is good.
Right. So he's the slowest because it's that earth energy. It's that denseness. So that's what's happening here, is that denseness of him working, just like Mary Jo was talking about, working to build this value and to bring it in the physical. So this is referring to two things. It's referring to what he wants to bring the feminine in terms of value, in terms of what he can give her, in terms of what he can provide for her. It also is having to do with embodying that divine love in the physical. So in two senses, he wants to bring this physicality to the divine feminine, but it is a slow process because of that denseness of the energy. Okay, two things coming out at the same time. Wow. Okay. So the divine partnership, that's the yin and yang, that's the divine partnership. And what they're flowing through me now is that it is being supported divinely. So when you do choose this path of the divine partnership and you say, okay, my divine masculine might be the option that is the most challenging. He is Mount Kilimanjaro. He is the one that is going to take everything to ascend with. You are being held up. You are being supported. You are existing in this state of suspension. It is unlike your earthly existence. So it's really interesting thing that he wants to bring you physicality, and yet you're being supported in this spiritual existence when you choose this path. But it is very practical. Part of, that's the paradox of it. Part of this practicality is the soul connection. This is the soul community that, oh gosh, it's been happening so rapidly the past few days. I know you, every divine feminine, maybe perhaps the divine masculines too, have been noticing this, where the connections are just quick. You're all of a sudden connected to these other souls that you don't even know how you came in contact with, but it's another divine feminine, it's another divine masculine. Maybe if you're a feminine, it's a masculine, and you're having this soul connection that's very much part of that divine path. And that is part of, they're saying, making this make sense in the physical, giving you that support network to say, oh, you know what? This is a departure from my normal life or from what might make sense, but I'm being supported. I do have these people who are here with me. I'm not alone. Okay, yes. So yeah, you're walking through the door to spirit. This is adding up to 5 for change. You have walked through the door to spirit. And if you are choosing this path and committing to it, then it's a huge change. It's a huge shift. You're literally going through a doorway, a portal you know, a series of mini portals, but definitely you are moving through. And in this case, well, I was going to say the divine feminine is the dove and the masculine is following her through the door because that's what's been showing. But then they flowed through me. No, it's actually going back and forth now. At times he's the dove. At times you're the dove. Because as Mary Jo was saying, it's like there's something that's going to spur you on. That's what's happening now. It's shifting. It's shifting because the feminine who might have been torn, there are things coming from the masculine now, efforts being made, communications being made, even if it's just energetically, where you're like, oh yeah, I remember what this connection is about. And that's leading you through the doorway. And it's victorious. It's completely victorious. You are supported divinely. There's only one way that divine path is going to lead to, and it is victory. That's the only outcome. And it is a 10, which is a 1. It's a new beginning. It's the ending of the old, the beginning of the new. Beautiful. Okay, so that was the energy oracle. I'm just going to get one card. This Magical Unicorns deck by Doreen Virtue has been speaking a lot to this journey. So I'm going to see what guidance comes out there. Okay, and then there's 2. Okay. Okay, so these 2 cards have been coming out a lot for the journey. This one about family. This is the divine family in 2 ways. Both those soul connections of all of the divine counterparts coming together in a soul network. And also because that's what's happening. It's a wave of light. It's a wave of light, a wave of that Christ consciousness being embodied, and we're all coming together in this network of people, of souls. And that's going to be very important planet on a planetary scale. And it's the divine family, your divine family, you, your masculine, and your family. That's it. And your the paradigm of the family is shifting. So it's going to feel and look much different than anything else you've ever imagined or had as a family. However, it will feel like home. It does feel like home. That's what's calling you home. That's what's calling him home. And this Imagine card has been coming out because it's talking about truly aligning. It says, what would you see, feel, think, and hear if your wish came true? So this is truly aligning with what would your sensual, physical reality be if this happened tomorrow? If your masculine showed up at your door, if it was like, okay, we're on, you know, we're doing this now, really, really embodying what it would feel like, be like, look like, sound like, just everything, really, really aligning with that, because that's part of this integration that's happening. You kind of don't want to be mentally unprepared. You want to do sort of a dry run with your mental, emotional, and even physical energies as you're being moved into this integration. So that's something to practice this week, and I would advise it this week based on the guidance, because there is a lot going on energetically. So stuff is happening. So the guidance is saying, like, you know, practice, rehearse, and get ready for this to be your reality.
That's funny, India, because I said something earlier this week about what if he showed up at the door with a duffel bag. I've said it like 5 or 6 times this week already.
Your higher self was telling you, think about this, feel it. Yeah, experience what it would be. Okay, so this is really cool, the Lenormand guidance. This one keeps coming out, the birch and broom. It does have a sexual connotation with the whip and everything. It also has sort of a frenzied energy. It can be about mental activity, but what they're giving me here, okay, it also has to do with power. It has to do with the power dynamic in the connection. So this is the feminine wanting to and moving away from a feeling of being controlled in the dynamic, or being or an old male female dynamics, really getting away from any feeling of being you know, coming into her own power. And this is also the masculine feeling his power in the connection, so that he does feel powerful, but he's allowing for that balance to happen. So that's all happening with that. This is, the dice is, you know, absolutely being ready to take that gamble and deciding to roll the dice. The numbers on these dice add up to 11, they add up to 5, so it's change, and it's a divinely guided partnership. So, I mean, it's a no lose. I mean, this gamble cannot lose. When you do decide to roll those dice, you cannot lose. It's just knowing, oh, it's high stakes. Oh, it's high stakes. And it's going to be a very big jackpot. It's kind of like when people say, what would you really do if you won the lottery? That's the energy the guys are saying to get into. What would you really do if you won the lottery? What if you won that jackpot and it was like, you know, millions of dollars, and it would change your entire life, and it's something you always dreamed of, and now it's a reality? What would that reality really be like? That's the vibration we're supposed to be in now, because it is that winning jackpot. There is no losing. However, the winning comes with a complete shift. That is a metaphor. Thank you guys. It's really helpful to think about that, winning the lottery or winning the huge jackpot. And here is the Divine Feminine receiving that message of love right now. This energy of this week is really all about the masculine wanting to present this gift, wanting to present this message, whether it's energetically or in the physical, it's coming. So to be in that receptive energy, and again, to commit, you know, and to decide, is this what I want? Am I going to receive it? That's the challenge for the feminine right now. So it's really just it really does come down to a decision. And Archangel Michael is asking, you know, once you make that decision, then commit and then move forward. Say let every word, step, thought, action, interaction, breath, heartbeat be in alignment with that commitment. And once you ask for that, it will happen. Okay, and one Jesus message in this journey. Yes, this is the one that keeps coming out from Jesus. He keeps saying, pray always. And this is saying, when you do commit, go to your team, go to God, go to your higher self, go to your twin's higher self, and pray and ask and talk about the journey. Turn everything over. Don't try to solve it by yourself. Don't try to make it happen by yourself. Don't try to even understand it yourself. Do that, you know, praying, that turning over, talking, and meditating too. Yes, listening, but talking, turning it all over is what they're saying. Surrendering it all to the divine, because that support will be there when you do that. So.
And I got Let Go of Fear Now. With this card, it came up a million times over the weekend for all the private readings I was doing. Archangel Michael, please help me feel safe and deserving of your guidance. Thank you for clearing me of heavy, toxic, or ego-based thoughts or feelings. A lot of this stuff that I just went through in the reading, in this side of it, the Three of Swords, that Eight of Swords, Five of Swords, all ego-based stuff, right? So what India is saying is very, I think, powerful for us just to, you know, sort of turn it over. I mean, because we are sort of in the place of, you know, free will and all of that. But at the end of the day, there is this mission, right? There is this connectivity. There is this thing that's happening that is enormous to all of us. And I just want to, you know, thank you, India, for taking part in this again. I mean, I like doing these live things because I feel like it adds like just such an element to everyone. And I've heard some great feedback from everybody. So I hope we, you know, continue to do this stuff again. And that was really beautiful, that message of pray always.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, cool. All right. Thank you all for watching. This is going to be on the channel now forever and ever. Amen. And I will put India's information so you can go and connect with her channel. And she's as amazing as you have sampled here. She is every bit as amazing in person. So please go see her. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining, and happy week. Have a good Valentine's Day if you are so inclined, and if not, then just have a great week.